go to my website, you'll see a video of Keith and I. There's a link to what King 5 TV did a couple years ago, and it started out doing it on the self-employment assistance program. And they called me, I think it was a Friday afternoon. They said, we wanted to interview you about this program. We hear you're an authorized provider. I said, great. But I don't think you just really want to hear from me talk about this program. How about we get a business buyer, a client who has successfully bought a business, came out of the corporate world, and even though he wasn't involved with this program because it wasn't available then, is the perfect reason why the state is doing this program. So I call Keith, he agrees to do it. We spend a beautiful, sunny Saturday summer afternoon in his shop. He has a manufacturing and distribution business in Redmond, and he primarily makes and distributes products for campers and backpackers and outdoor enthusiasts. So we're about done with the interview. We're walking through, I'm with the reporter, he's with the cameraman about 15 feet from me, and I hear the cameraman say to him, I see all these products for camping. Are you into camping? Keith just stops in the middle of his shop floor and starts laughing. And he says, we go to trade shows and people come up to our booth and they just gush over our products. They tell us, you make the best things for camping and backpacking. You must really love the outdoors. And he goes, I hate camping. I like making things. He doesn't care if he's making outdoor products or indoor products. He's making things. That's where his skill is. So when you talk about passion for what you're doing in business, and you hear that a lot, you've got to have a real passion. It's got to be up here at the top of the stadium level. Making things, indoor, outdoor, doesn't matter. It can't be down here. I have to make, this is a true statement from someone who was a potential client of mine. I want to buy a company that manufactures scientific measuring devices. Good luck. There's like 5 in the state, and most of them are big. Too big for an individual to buy. Passion up here. Why would somebody sell you a profitable business?
They want to move on.
Move on. Retire.
New idea.
New idea.
Yeah, but
If it's on this slide, this is what you're looking for. You added catastrophic things, divorce, death, and disability, the 3 Ds, but most deals are burnout, retirement, do something else. Life happens. Bad personal decision? A couple years ago, one of my clients got a company, and at closing, the seller of the business got 0 money. 0. Because in 2007, this is a very successful entrepreneur. He owned like 5 or 6 companies, and he was selling them off. Because in 2007, he decided he was going to take every dollar he had, leverage it in commercial real estate. When my client moved into the business he bought from this guy, he looked across the street and there was an empty building that the seller owned, had been vacant for 8 months. It wasn't his only property that was in trouble. Life happens. So, what's the worst kind of business to buy or own? If I went around the room, I'd hear at least 2 or 3 of you say retail or restaurant. Believe me. But it just depends on who you are. These top 3 are killers. Losing money, too short a lease, saturation. The rest are red flags. And it has to match up with your experience, your risk tolerance. And I got another page, but there's even more. Obviously, you don't want a money-losing business. You won't get a bank loan for a term of the loan any greater than the amount of the lease, including options. The bank does not want you kicked out halfway through. It's expensive to move. Or saturation. And that's where you got to be real careful. How easy is it to replicate that business? In other words, is there an insufficient competitive advantage? And one of the things I always ask my clients is, what's the competitive advantage of the business you like? In other words, why are their customers willing to pay what they pay that allows you to provide the product or service and make a reasonable profit? If you can't state that, why be in that business? And if they're competing on price, high volume, low price, someone else can always sell for less. Someone can always start something out of a low overhead garage building overseas. So let's finish up talking about financing. Creative financing, we'll use that term. Creative financing is not financial hocus pocus. It is not wishful thinking. It's using the cash flow of the business or the assets of the business to help pay for the business. So these three things on the bottom really don't relate to the business, but the Self-Employment Assistance Program, where you can get unemployment here in Washington without having to do the job search. Jeff talked about the 401k rollover, right? Guidant Financial here in Bellevue. You can use your 401k, you can use your qualified money, say have your company set up a 401k to help buy the business without paying tax or penalty on that money. Personal opinion, it's money of last resort. If you can do the deal, franchise, buy, whatever, without using qualified money, do it. But if that's the only way you can get what you want, it's a great program. The SBA guaranteeing bank loans, that's where most of your acquisition loans are today. They weren't guaranteeing them, there wouldn't be all these loans made to buy businesses. And it is one of the few government programs that is making money. They do not lose money on it. They charge a fee for it, and it's like an insurance fee. But that SBA loan guarantee program is solvent. One of the things in the few things in the black in government. But let's look at the things in yellow here that clients have done over the last few years. One of my clients, Rob, bought a company where the owner loved assets, loved seeing full racks of stuff. First year, he managed the inventory better and sold off $200,000 of inventory he did not replace. That turned $200,000 of things into cash, his money. That owner, if you say he loved assets, he loved and adored big trucks. The company didn't need a big truck, needed a small truck. He sold off the big truck, bought a small one, pocketed the difference, had lower operating costs. That's creative financing. Using the assets of the business to help pay for the business. Or pay him back faster. Buy inventory as needed. Too much inventory, not being managed right. I'm not going to buy it all. I'll buy it from you over time. Take this stuff that hasn't sold in 2 years and see if you can sell it yourself. I've had that happen. Buy the cash in the accounts receivable of the company. Often you'll see deals where the seller takes all the cash and all the money owed to the company, pays off all the bills. I'm seeing more and more where the working capital is staying in the business for about the same price. And the last one goes back a few years. It was one of my tech clients who didn't understand banking. So he said to me one day, the bank's not being very creative on my deal. And my answer was, the bank's not in business to be creative, they're in business to get paid back. But yet at the same time, his bank was offering him a 5-year note with a 7-year amortization, and the first year payments were based on a 12-year amortization schedule because cash is king, especially the first year. And the bank was being as flexible as possible. The seller was giving him a 5-year interest-only note, the balloon payment at the end of 5 years. That's pretty creative for debt. So, you look at buy, sell deals. Is there always creative financing where you can pull money out of different places? No. But when you see it, I could put a list up here of 58 things. When you see that list, you say, wow, I want to do one of those. You don't know. Every deal is specific. They may have 0, may have 3 opportunities. But money is, if it's a good company and you've got enough initial capital, even the minimum amount, there usually will be financing.